Street Fighter V's newcomers have so far demonstrated a trend of having interesting ideas but flawed execution, whether it's conflicting story importance or a lack of tapped potential. Which brings us to F.A.N.G, and today I'm going to throw you for a loop because I fucking love F.A.N.G. F.A.N.G is the fourth new king of Shadowloo, taking Sagat's place after the king of Muay Thai ditched Shadowloo during the Alpha series. When F.A.N.G's clan sent him to assassinate Bison, the dictator handed him a Psycho Crusher and offered him a chance to join Shadowloo instead. And since F.A.N.G is a huge coward, he realized the only way to survive in a world where there's a guy this powerful is to work for him. Now, to get it out of the way, I understand why people hate F.A.N.G. He's silly looking, he's got an annoying voice, and an annoying playstyle. He looks, acts, and sounds like an idiot, which is almost standard fare for Street Fighter considering that weird side of Street Fighter where all the freaks and sideshows go. But it goes a little further beyond that because F.A.N.G has big shoes to fill. He's one of the 4 kings of Shadowloo. This is not a title to be taken lightly. He is sharing that space with mainstay villains Balrog and Vega, and he is taking the place of longtime series nemesis Sagat, who is missing from the base roster. There is great reason to be disappointed with F.A.N.G. It's like assembling the Avengers, except you get rid of Thor and replace him with Dazzler. But allow me to make a case for F.A.N.G, because everything about F.A.N.G is brilliance in character design. Immediately, F.A.N.G invokes the image of old-school kung fu henchmen. The wide hat, the long garbs, the sunglasses, everything about him just screams shady asshole. He's got a cartoonishly long face, a pointy nose, beady little eyes, a squawky voice, and long flappy sleeves that invoke vulture-like imagery. An image that didn't go unnoticed by his move designers. Naturally, his image color is purple because his poison effects are purple. This color choice also highlights 2 other neat aspects. In color psychology, purple is a color that is typically associated with mystery and the unknown. Purple is also traditionally color reserved for royalty, and though he is one of the 4 kings of Shadowloo, there's an obvious parallel between royalty and how he sees himself as being superior because of his rank. In contrast to the rest of his cartoonish appearance, his hands are almost frighteningly over-detailed, tipped with pointed nails and constantly dripping in poison. Since they're always hidden behind his comically large sleeves, it's a clever bit of juxtaposition to show you that in spite of looking like an utter buffoon, he is still a dangerous assassin whose poison is so lethal it can disintegrate a whole human being into a pile of dust in a matter of seconds. He may be a joke, but he is still a danger in his own right. It's also worth mentioning F.A.N.G's obsession with the number 2. He is written and designed aggressively with this number in mind. His birthday is February 2nd, his height in metric is 222 centimeters, he loves to drop lines referring to the number 2, and nearly all of his normals and specials are designed to hit 2 times. This, of course, refers to his position as second in command at Shadowloo, a title that he cherishes. F.A.N.G's animations are also pure nonsense. They're definitely not any sort of martial art I've ever seen, and when combined with his lanky proportions, it can almost feel like watching a clown perform, like some kind of martial arts Monty Python skit. It should go without saying, of course, that these animations would be greatly improved if his damn sleeves were just keyframed instead of flopping all over the place. I know I go on a great deal about replacing physics engines for costumes, and that mostly becomes moot in games where characters have multiple costumes. I get that. But the sleeves are so integral to F.A.N.G's animations that he's got flappy sleeves in all his costumes, so this time there's no excuse to not keyframe those damn things. The entirety of F.A.N.G's personality, motivations, and even his playstyle come together when you think about F.A.N.G's core character trait. He's a scumbag. He's a coward and a cheater, and it's all there in his moveset. He zones you out with poison and would rather run away and let the poison kill you than fight you himself. He's annoying because he's designed to be annoying. You're supposed to hate him. The act of playing as F.A.N.G taps into a sort of mischief, a sort of inner troll that encourages you to see just what bullshit you can get away with. But knowing that, it's also important that it's fun to watch him lose. Everything about him, his goofy animations, his scumbag mentality, his mightier-than-thou attitude, everything culminates in a great desire to put F.A.N.G on the train to Dunktown. Look at this shit-eating grin. He's just asking for a crush counter combo. Now, of course, because this is a fighting game and you can play as F.A.N.G, it's a little odd to say that F.A.N.G was meant to lose. But choosing to play as F.A.N.G is something of a subconscious gamble, where your goal is to get away with bullshit or to die trying. Now, you might still be thinking, okay, he's a coward and a cheat, but why do we need him? Why is he here? Why couldn't we get someone cooler? You might find this hard to believe, but F.A.N.G is actually the single most necessary character in story mode. F.A.N.G fulfills a character role that Street Fighter has never had: a self-acting henchman. I don't consider Balrog and Vega henchmen because they're more like obstacles standing in your way to Bison. And I don't consider the Shadow Dolls henchmen because they're just pawns who cause trouble, sometimes on F.A.N.G's behalf. Street Fighter stories have traditionally involved Bison just sitting in his base, waiting for someone to come along and kick his ass. But F.A.N.G is the only character who is actively pursuing the villain's agenda. He's responsible for the Shadow Doll project, the Black Moons that kickstart the entire world crisis, killing Rashid's programmer friend, and he even kidnaps Alex for some reason. Without F.A.N.G, nothing in story mode would actually happen. If you're wondering why it's never felt like Shadaloo has ever actually threatened the world, it's because we never had a character like F.A.N.G to actually make that happen. When you really think about it, F.A.N.G is pretty much Bison's only loyal general. Balrog's just in it for the money and can be easily bought out. Vega's only interested in his aesthetic, which has nothing to do with Shadaloo's plans, and Sagat freaking left. That is actually extremely telling considering that Shadaloo is kind of a shitty criminal organization. I mean, think about it. Every single development and every single resource is spent to the benefit of only one person, and that's Bison. And F.A.N.G is the only one who is thrilled about it. F.A.N.G realized a long time ago when he failed to assassinate Bison that if his poison couldn't kill him, there's no way that F.A.N.G would ever be the strongest in the world. So as long as F.A.N.G is second to an unkillable tyrant, making that tyrant stronger only ensures his survival. F.A.N.G making sure that Bison becomes a psycho-power god is just a matter of job security. If I had to explain in short terms why F.A.N.G is my favorite newcomer in the starting roster, it's because I feel he is the most fully realized character among the four. Necalli is a narrative letdown, Rashid is miscast, and Laura just falls a few inches short of being interesting. But F.A.N.G actually achieves everything his concept was set out to do. Whether or not you like F.A.N.G really comes down to a matter of taste, so if you still don't like F.A.N.G even knowing all this context, I understand. My hope is that we are at least able to understand some of the possible design decisions behind this kind of character, and that we can appreciate the rarity of a Street Fighter sideshow freak who actually contributes to the cast in a big way. If Fang never comes back for a new Street Fighter, I wouldn't mind. He's done his job and left his mark, and with the collapse of Shadaloo at the end of the story, I think this is a fine time for Fang to bow out. And that closes out the 4th design shop for Street Fighter V. Someday I'll come back around to cover Season 2, but until that time comes, go ahead and give that like button a good flap, and be sure to subscribe to SugarPunch for more anime and game content. I'm a.b.i. and... Wait, Fang is an anagram? Of what? What the fuck does Fang even stand for?